The Get Rich Slow Club podcast is a collaboration between Tash Etchman from Tash Invest and Anna Christina from Perla. The Get Rich Slow Club acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land we record on. From coast to coast, across land, waters, and communities, we pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. Any advice is general and does not consider your financial situation, needs, or objectives, so consider whether it's appropriate for you.
Welcome to the Get Rich Slow Club podcast,
where we take you from beginner to confident investor,
where we can teach you everything you need to know about investing.
So come get rich slow with us.
Hello and welcome back. Today we have a really fun listener question. She asked something along the lines of, what do we do when investing gets too boring, which I absolutely loved. We'll listen to it in a second, but first, money win or money loss?
Money win, I think. It's my kid's birthday coming up, and do you like Lego? Have you ever grown up playing with Lego?
Yeah, my dad would always do the really hard bits for me, so I liked it because he would I had this Harry Potter one where the Lego person would disappear and it was a secret trapdoor, but it was so hard to set up, so he did it and I would play once it was set up, but I wasn't ever very good at building them.
Yeah, okay. So I've never been really around Lego. I had friends who were into Lego. That wasn't a thing for me, but my partner's really into Lego and trying to get the kids into Lego. We bought something a few months ago that is some kind of ramp with motorcycles, just moving bits like cars and anything that rolls my kids love. Mm-hmm. So we bought that a while ago and it's totally gone up in value. And we constantly have this conversation of should we even open the box? Because we're going to give it to my kid for his birthday.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I wanted to get another little motorcycle to go with it. And there's this online platform called Dashbricks. Mm-hmm. And it's reasonable prices because a lot of this stuff, once Lego's put it out, you can't get it anymore and it goes up in price.
Really?
It goes up in value. Lego is actually, I can't remember the actual stat, but it's gone up in value more than specific shares and whatnot.
When you told me just for this episode that you wanted to talk about Dashbricks, I thought you were going to tell me about a property investment thing.
No.
I was not expecting Lego.
Lego, yeah.
What? Okay.
Lego,
so Dashbricks has reasonably priced Lego.
Yeah. And I was very excited about it because if you look on Amazon, if you look on any other platform, it was double the price.
Crazy.
There you go. Shout out to Dashbricks. If you want to send me some Lego, I'm totally keen.
Yeah. Side note, but I loved the doll houses. I remember my dad once built me a doll house because we lived overseas and you couldn't just buy random stuff as easily. And that was one of my favorite childhood memories because then they made a book out of it. We took photos and he made us a storybook too. A stapled up, A4 paper storybook. Yeah.
It was a dollhouse of Lego?
No, a dollhouse. No, this was just a regular dollhouse. Because we used to make kind of houses out of Lego too, but we had a dollhouse that he just drilled and chopped up with wood, which is really cool.
How cool. Yeah. And you have a little book on this.
Yeah, so he took photos because we had a camera back then. My dad was always interested in the newer tech stuff. This is ages ago. So we had a digital camera, which is exciting. And yeah, we took photos, went and got them developed. And then they made an A4 paper book for us about the doll's house story. I don't remember what the story was, but it was we were acting out them going to bed and then eating dinner together and stuff like that.
Oh my God, how cute. So do you think you still have this book?
Probably in Perth. I'll have to have a look.
What a keen memory. You should share it if you do. I'd love to see it.
We made quite a few books. So I was homeschooled for a few years as well. And I remember we just made so many books of random stuff. Maybe that's why I like reading now.
Yeah, probably.
Also from the start.
Yeah, for sure. What's your money win or loss?
A loss. I went to the footy the other day. I don't know. Could go either way with footy. Don't mind too much. I quite like the atmosphere. Don't care too much about the actual game, but I enjoy seeing 50,000 people all boo at the same time. That is a wild feeling and so crazy. And same with the cheer as well. But I decided to try the cauliflower instead of the chips and they were terrible.
Oh.
So money loss. I should have just gotten the chips and not tried to be slightly healthier.
Is this the footy game that you took your book to?
Yes.
That everyone on social media got very upset about?
Yeah, both ways. That is my most viewed story ever.
Wow.
Because people are either saying that's so great, I'm too embarrassed to do that. How did you get the confidence to read a book there? And others were how could you be doing that? But there's so many bits of downtime at the footy. You get there early, there's quarter time, there's half time, there's 3/4 time. There's bits when it's just nothing's really happening.
Yeah, why not read a book?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Scroll?
The only reason I took it was because it was a crucial, really exciting moment. And we got off the train and I was oh, no, there was a plot twist. Yeah, is she dead? Is she not dead? I have to find out. And it was one of those alternating character perspective ones. So I was I've got to I need to finish it.
So the cauliflower was bad, but the book was good.
Yeah. And I enjoy the environment, a good day out for whatever the ticket was, $30 or whatever.
Yeah. It's nice to do something.
Yeah.
And go out. And I'm sure.
I miss the energy of people. So it's good to see the energy.
Yeah, for sure. So let's kick it off by listening to this awesome question from one of our listeners.
Hey Hey guys, I've been investing for almost a year now, just into low-cost index ETFs, and everything's going really well. I've automated all of the payments so I don't even have to lift a finger. It's super simple and easy, and I'm loving it, except for it's really boring. And everyone says that's how that should be, but I really think I need a way to spice things up and stay interested. Any suggestions?
I love this so much because it sounds like she's doing it perfectly. It's automated. She doesn't need to do anything. It's just set and forget.
It's supposed to be boring.
Yeah.
That's why it's long-term investing. Everything long-term feels like a lifetime away.
Yes. Like you've nailed it. And I get the thing about like wanting it to be more exciting, but taking a moment to be like, does it need to be more exciting? Can it be more exciting in other ways? I feel like we've kind of both gone through this. Like I started investing, I feel like I'm actually getting old now because it was almost 10 years ago, which is pretty crazy to think about, like maybe 9 years ago. And I was very excited. I tried all the different platforms. I tried CommSec and CommSec Pocket and ANZ E-Trade back then and Self-Wealth and Perla, and I had Spaceship and Raise and literally like all these platforms, Vanguard as well. And that was exciting initially. And then I tried all the different ETFs as well. Like I always was Googling like, can I get a better management fee? Is there something better I should be investing in? Should I slightly change my allocations? And that probably was not a great option, like great for learning, but not great for my returns because there's so many random things in there still. But then when it got boring and I automated it with Perla, that's when things started doing quite well for me. But like it is boring.
I think when you first learn about investing, or for me, it was like learning about financial independence, retire early. I was like, I just want to consume all of the information.
Yeah.
I want to listen to all the podcasts and read all the books and do all the things and talk to everyone about it because everyone needs to get on this train. Like that's what I felt like. So you get this rush of excitement and also a rush of empowerment. Like I can do something with my money that will help me have better outcomes in the future, right? But once you master that, once you figure out what platform do you use, what ETF do you invest in, how often do you invest, how are you going to do that, what are your projections, then it's just about doing it. It's boring.
Yeah. This actually reminds me so well. I have lots of different hobbies, but I have like a year where I'm so obsessed with it. Like wakeboarding, for example, I got a year-long membership. I went like 2 or 3 times a week. I absolutely loved it. But it was the time where I went from really bad, like couldn't stand up, to being quite good and able to do jumps and like little 180s and stuff like that. But then when you hit that peak where you're like decent, but it takes a lot more effort to get better, I feel like I lose interest really quickly. Like it's like you're not improving every time you do something. So now you're like, oh, I don't want to actually like train really hard for this thing, or I don't want to like hurt myself falling off a jump. Like this is getting too far now. I did it with like scuba diving as well. I became a dive master. I loved that. But then I got to the point where I was like, oh, well, like it's being an instructor or there's no more moving forward. And I feel like that's with investing as well. You learn everything and then you're like, oh, like, do I want to learn how to day trade, or is this like it for me now?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's why it's so important to find other things to spice it up. Like this is what this listener is asking, like, how do I spice it up?
Yeah. Sorry, we're not just going to tell you not to care.
Yeah. Don't just like be bored. We've got ideas. So where do we start with spicing it up?
I go through phases with things I'm obsessed with. And I think at the moment I love travel deals and credit card points. And it's not investing exactly, but it's being excited about other parts of money and personal finance. And when I really care about something, it's easier to save or invest in other ways. Like my investments are not exciting to me right at this moment, which is fine, but I'm so excited about points. I love looking at deals. I'm still involved in my money that way instead.
Yeah. So I think instead of focusing on the investing, it's like, well, what are the things you're going to have to buy anyways? How do you get deals on it? How to actually get your money to go further? How do you maximize that? What can you save on and what can you get money back on, right? Like using cashbacks or ways to actually get more money in your pocket. It can be really exciting.
Yeah. Or I've loved tracking stuff again. Like I had 2 years where I didn't track my net worth because I was a bit over it. It wasn't moving too fast. I was a bit like, oh, I don't want to share this anymore. I'm going to have a break from it. It's a bit exhausting sometimes. But now that I'm tracking it again, I'm like, oh, like I just hit over $600,000 of my net worth the other day. Like I'm only 400,000 away from $1 million. Like that's pretty exciting. I made a reel as well explaining how much I had to invest to have my dividends pay for my rent. So that's like a more achievable goal as well, being like, I need to invest, it was like $200,000 more to have my dividends pay for my rent, which is amazing. But there are like other ways to get excited where it's not just like, I'm waiting until I'm 60 to have this many millions. Like what are the shorter, like 200,000 is not a short-term goal, but it's shorter than trying to invest $1 million.
Yeah. Tracking is a big one for me as well. I know like over the last couple years, I've been on parental leave and I've been working part-time, so I'm not making as much money, which makes it very demotivating to track some of those things for me because I'm not making like my full wage. And my partner often is like, why do you even track your net wealth? like your net worth. Like and for me, exactly that. It's fun. It's like, it's something that even though I can't control it, like if the markets were to dip tomorrow, it's not my fault that my net worth has gone down. Mm-hmm. But for me, I like to be able to track it and see things like my mortgage is going down. Yeah. My savings or my investments are going up. Same with my super. Like that makes me feel really excited. Mm-hmm. And seeing how much I've contributed. So another big thing that I used to always track quite a bit is how much I'm investing. What percentage of my income am I investing? Is it 5%? Is it 10%? Am I hitting 50%? Like that's really cool because that is something that you have control over, right? Like not what the market is doing.
Yeah. And it's so much fun to like see that you're progressing and just to see the success. Like I feel like at school, I feel like I did really well at school and I enjoyed all the achievements and it's hard to get that in adult life in the same way, but I feel like you can kind of set it up with your investments to be like, oh my gosh, I hit this new number. Like how exciting is that? And you can like set yourself up for success in a lot of different ways.
Yeah. The other big excitement for me right now is watching my mortgage go down. So I'm always like telling my partner, like, guess how much, like we've paid off this much. And because we have an offset account, we can also see how much money we've saved because of the offset. A lot of people haven't done the numbers and you realize that you're paying the same amount of your loan in interest, right?
Yeah.
Like it can be a huge number. And if you can put as much into your offset, and I know that's not always possible with the cost of living crisis, it can be much more motivating.
Yeah. And scroll through Reddit. Like there are some really smart people on Reddit doing so many things with their finances. I recently came across novated leasing for electric vehicles and how beneficial that can be to high income earners. I think that's such a rabbit hole and the math is kind of confusing sometimes, but like that's a whole nother thing to get excited about. We've spoken about debt recycling as well. Like that's the next step. You can look at buying a property if that's on your horizon. I was getting a bit bored with investing a few years ago and I ended up buying crypto. Like when it dropped back in 2021, it was only a small percentage of my portfolio, but that like got me excited again because ETFs don't really rise 30% in a few days, but crypto can. So that was my moment of like, oh, this is cool. I've had friends buy Nvidia, like just a small, I think they put like maybe $500 in or something. And now they're like, oh my God, it's up to $1,600 or whatever it is. Like it's such a small amount of money, but it's got them excited again.
Yeah. But to caveat all that, like crypto and share investing.
Yes, risky.
It's very risky. And also if you're going to dabble in it, make sure you're aware of what percentage of your overall money you're putting aside. I think you have something like 1% or something
like
in that.
5% maybe because it's gone up so much, but I didn't put in 5%. Yeah, keep it under 5%, I think, and make sure you've got a stable base of ETFs and you've kind of like nailed that first and you've done your research. But like if that's what gets you excited and you want to research stocks, you want to research Tesla or you want to like see what another tech company is doing, like you can do that as well, but you don't need to. Yeah, for a long time I was like tracking what my old company was doing because I still have shares in my old company, but they've dropped quite a bit. So hopefully it's like, I'm hoping that, I know it's one of those things like, should I dollar cost average out of those? You know what I mean? So as you build more wealth and as you're learning along the way, there are going to be other things that can excite you. Like right now I'm thinking about how do I sell off these shares and thinking about whether I do it in a lump sum or do I hold on to them or do I dollar cost average, get rid of them. Like there are ways to think about that. The next thing I think I've talked about is debt recycling. That's going to be a big one for us in the next probably 2 years. So I'm just strategically thinking about how do we want to do it? How do we want to set it up? I know it's not like tomorrow. It's still a while away, but I love thinking about that and thinking about what's the alternative? What if we got an investment property or what if we do debt recycle or what if we pay off our mortgage? Like what are our priorities? And actually like some of those calculators are really exciting to use online and be like, what are the different paths that I can take? Yeah, I love going on to just like the compound interest calculator as well and being like, where am I at now? Like how much could I have at 65 if the market keeps doing this? Adjusting the numbers a little bit and being like, wow, like that's pretty cool. Imagine having $6 million. Like I can't imagine that now, but that's so exciting that is a possibility. I love, like my next goal is to buy another property and I want to set that up in a trust. So my excitement has been learning about trusts and why people even use trusts and the world of property. I love just scrolling on realestate.com, not even for investment properties, but just like, imagine if I make this much money, like where I can actually live in the future. Like there's so many options out there, which is so exciting. Yeah, my partner and I were having one of those hypothetical conversations and I love having this with people as well. Like what would you do if you got an extra $3 million? Yeah. You know, and it was one of those fun conversations where it's like, would we renovate our house, which is a bit of an older house, but has like great bones? And would we do that? Or would we just get a brand new house that is schmick? We don't have to do any work to it. And it's just fun having those conversations because it gets you kind of excited about what the future might
hold. Like, of course, no one's like, the likelihood of us getting $3 million is very low, but it's great to kind of play with those ideas.
Yeah, I think I've only recently started like really looking too much into the future. Like COVID kind of made me stop planning too far ahead because I was trapped in like over here, over this side of Australia for a few years. I couldn't go home to WA. I couldn't think more than like a month ahead for ages. So I was like, I don't know, it's out of my control. But now I started like Googling houses again or like looking at travel plans as well and being like, oh, one of my goals is I want to go to Uganda at some point to do the gorilla hike, which is really fun. But there's very limited numbers of gorilla permits. It's quite expensive. It's quite like a long flight to get there as well. But it's just fun to be like, wow, like all of this investing has gotten me to the point where I am comfortable enough to do this kind of stuff. And imagine if my dividends pay for my Uganda trip. Like that's a fun thing to do.
Yeah. Another one that I'm getting really excited about is we want to have like a bit of a family reunion in Europe next year. So I'm thinking about what credit card should I get in order to get the points? What's the best airlines to take? There's a bunch of family hotels. Have you heard of this?
Oh my God.
It looks so fun.
Yeah, I feel like someone in the UK who goes like to Greece and stuff. Yeah.
They have like a daycare on site and they have all these like
water
kid
slides,
activities.
pools.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The kids club looks so cool.
It sounds so great. So I'm just like trying to figure out how can I add that in with the family stuff? And that gets me more excited. So it's like thinking about my investing and my money enabling me to do these things as opposed to my investing just kind of sitting there.
Yeah, not getting excited about the ETF. It's getting excited about the potential from that.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope this has been helpful. I don't know if we've just rambled too much, but yeah, I think long-term investing is boring and we call ourselves the Get Rich Slow Club because it has to be slow as well. So yeah, just keep going. You'll find a way to make it more exciting. You can also have phases of your life where you're like, I don't really care too much about investing for 6 months and then something might reignite it in the future. But as long as you're kind of like being excited about money in some way, whatever way it is, and you're still like being engaged with it in some way, then like it's fine to enjoy life as well.
Yeah, you can be excited about something else. It doesn't have to be money because
but money relates to everything.
Yeah, I know. But if you've got your money set up, that enables your mental capacity to focus on other things. And that's the most important thing. That's about getting rich slow. It's about being set up for your future so you don't have to stress about that.
And huge congrats for even getting to this point as well. This is a huge part of your journey to have it automated and to feel so comfortable that you are feeling bored. Like that's massive.
Love it.
Yay. Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for joining us. If you found this episode helpful, please rate us 5 stars, write a review, or share with a friend. If you're new to investing, make sure to listen to our first 10 episodes. Follow us at Get Rich Slow Club or Tash at Tash Invest or me at Ana Christina.
This show was brought to you by Natasha Etchman, who is an authorized representative 1299881 of Guideway Financial Services, AFSL 420367, and Perla, who is an authorized representative 1281540 of Sanlam Private Wealth, AFSL 337927. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to investing. So make sure you check out our financial services guides and read the product disclosure statement and target market determination for any investments you're considering. See our show notes for more info.